So you finally stopped working and something feels off. Why? Let's talk about it. Life after work was supposed to be fun, free, and instead for many people it feels stressed, it feels bored, and this is completely normal because nobody taught us how to do life after work. Work meets so many needs that we don't even hardly notice the social part of it, challenges, creativity, we could see progress, we could see growth. So work wasn't just about money, even if you didn't like your job, right? And you couldn't wait for it to be done. And so how can we even compare like our normal lives, our life after work, to all the things that work gave us? Obviously something is missing, right? In our like hardcore productivity society, the thing that was missing, the thing that's missing now, is a way of meeting these needs in a healthier way, right? I mean, lots of people do go back to work after they've retired. They just can't stand it. But we've got this idea that life after work, life beyond work, means doing nothing, means sitting around, reading a newspaper, watching the TV, and that's rubbish. It's just like the money component has gone. If you don't have money issues, that's gone. You need to understand how to fill your days with something meaningful, with something joyful. And so we're going to dive into this a little bit more, what this actually means. So one common reaction with this uncomfortableness of spaciousness, of all of a sudden having lots of time and to be able to decide what you want to do, is overfilling the calendar. Just filling it with things just to be busy. Nothing that really sort of like interests you or fills you up particularly, or perhaps they just feel very random between them. And we could be stressed. We can have the same stress as we had in work, and we don't understand this. We're saying, look, I'm not working anymore. Why am I stressed? I shouldn't be stressed. But we haven't switched off the work mentality. You know, we're still in this doing, and we're not come down and into our beingness for a little while. Nobody taught us how to be, not in the West anyway, right? And the other is bored. So if our daily lives after work don't match up with our with all the needs that are being met at work, can't compare to it. It will just feel like empty somehow. And but we need to make a shift here, and the shift happens when we look to other cultures like India, for example, when they after they'd finished their work responsibilities, their family responsibilities, many would go into the forests to find themselves again. You know, we hear about this a lot, about finding yourself. What does this really mean? It means slowing down, feeling yourself, really meeting yourself, and allowing this, reversing this direction from being out there to being inside ourselves, you know, and to having this contact with ourselves, so our sensitivities, our intuition. And our intuition is nothing else other than knowing whether something is right for us or not right for us. So sit with yourself a second. So is it right to continue listening to what I'm saying now? Is this something you want to do? Then continue. Is this something you don't want to do? Move on and listen to something else then. So one of the ways to get out of this work mentality, other than going into the forest, let's say, it's a metaphor as well, is coming back to, wait for it, it's coming back to the way we used to play when we were kids. So there's all these different play personalities, ways of playing, which isn't just about being a class clown, even though that might be how you were when you were a kid, and that's not showing up so much in your life now. We all had ways when we were authentic. And in this time that we have after work, we could go back to whatever that was. And it's a good direction. It's a good way to understand what could possibly be meaningful for you now. And this is what I love to take people through their play histories. There's a lot to it. Rekindling these memories and not just having them as memories, but bringing them into our lives now. What does this mean to my life now? And the other big aspect about coming back to ourselves is to go on a pilgrimage. Just go on a 4-day pilgrimage, even just on a solo, specifically a solo pilgrimage. I'm not going onto the Camino, even though you can't even do that for 4 days, right? A pilgrimage is something that is yours, something that is sacred for you. 2 years ago, I went to India for 6 weeks to find myself. I was lost, a little bit grumpy, and I went on an adventure, basically me, with my rucksack at 48, and it was really important for me to have done this, and but that was 6 weeks, right? So that might be a bit too much for you. Let's start with 4 days. Find a place, pick somewhere you'd like to go, and you need to work through the big question you're taking with you, which is, what am I being invited to share in this phase of my life now? What should I let go of? What is not actually important for me in this life, for me in my life right now? And to have some sort of clarity, and these are things that you could do with somebody else. You could do with me, or just to find out what could that question be. Questions bring answers. Of course, the better questions we ask ourselves, the better quality answers we have as well. So 4-day pilgrimage, that's and coming back to our playfulness. And then we can come back into our lives after this, unpack what we've learned in these experiences, and bring them to our families, to our communities, to wherever is being held, is asked of us, to come into what I'm starting to call now vibrant elderhood. So we're not old, we're not a burden on society. We can actually, if coming back to ourselves, to our playfulness, to ourselves, to our authenticity, we can be a force for good for the world. We need to be an example for young people. And I'm not talking about preaching, I'm talking about giving a different example of what it means to be 50, 60, 70, 80. Lots of people have an idea that when they're 60, they're already too old to do many things, right? And where we should respect our bodies and listen to our bodies. We have this potential in our bodies, in our minds, that if we just sit in front of the television or scroll on our phones, they are going to diminish, and we're going to lose these faculties very fast. I'd love to know any questions or thoughts or reflections in the comments. And you don't have to do this alone. If this resonated with you, please reach out and we can go through your play history together. Perhaps even go through a 10-step program, one-to-one, where we go through on my model of the Playful Path, which includes a vibrant body, which is like health, really health, being healthy, joyful minds, also brain gym exercises, but also learning how to talk to ourselves, how to think, how to stimulate our brain that's useful for us, and opening up into relationships. And there's lots more to this 10-step program. I'd love to know your thoughts, reflections, what's come up for you in the comments. Thank you for watching, and this really can be the most alive chapter of your whole life.